Josh is here. Speaking of money, his first, his, I love my stupid camera. You introduce it, Holly.
All
I
right.
am
We are so
my enemy.
excited. We have Josh here, and he's going to talk about agent profitability today, part two. So we'll definitely make sure that you have access to part one. This is so important. So I've been in business for like 15 years, and even I'm not great at keeping track of certain metrics and certain numbers. So, I can talk in generalizations. Like I know generally most of my clients come from Sphere, but what he's going to do is teach us how to be more profitable by tracking our numbers. So thanks for being here, Josh.
Absolutely. So, first of all, I need to apologize because I cannot find my presentation for this. I don't know where it went in my Canva account, but we're gonna fly without it. We'll be fine. I did part one of this series a couple weeks back, and we talked about the cost per lead. And basically, that was just how much money does it take for you to take a client from one of your lead generation funnels and get them into your ecosystem of your sphere so that you can start nurturing them for a transaction down the road. And so when we talked about that, we used the example of Zillow and paying for leads, and it was like $1,000 a lead, and how that math works out. So today I want to talk about the second part of the coin, and that is your cost per acquisition, or a lot of times people refer to it as your cost per closing. And basically, what that is once you pay or you use your time and energy to get those people into your ecosystem, how much money are you spending on each of your clients to actually nurture them down your funnel to the closing table? Um, and this is one that over the last couple years, as I've been doing more consulting with teams, I will say this is the number one metric that will most likely make or break your profitability. Because what we see a lot of the time is a lot of the time people focus on the cost per lead. So when you ask them, hey, what is your cost per lead with your Zillow leads? They'll be able to tell you, oh, it's, $3,500. But then you ask them, well, what is your cost per acquisition once you get them to your in your funnel? What does it cost for you to nurture them down the funnel? And people have no idea. And part of the reason is because the life cycle of a client in real estate is so long. You have to remember that, a lot of these people are going to come into your ecosystem, especially if they're internet leads, and they're not even really going to be ready to do something for 18 months to 2 years. So it becomes a little bit challenging to calculate how much you're really spending on those people the whole time they're in your database until you close a transaction with them, because a lot of times these people have been in there for years, and you don't think about, okay, every month you have these recurring fees that are going every month. So, what I want to teach you today is a very simple way to forget about all that type of stuff and get a close number. It's an estimate, but it's going to give you a very close number for your cost per acquisition within your real estate business. And then, what we can do once you have your cost per lead figured out and you have your cost per acquisition figured out, you can do a couple things. The first thing you can do is you can start figuring out ways, how do you lower both of these? Because in business, we all know there's two ways to make more money: bring more money in or stop more money from going out. And so if you can identify your cost per lead and cost per acquisition and figure out ways how to bring those costs down, you will become more profitable. The other thing that it does is it allows you to see what, like, on those things that you're paying for every month, what are you actually using to actually nurture clients? And I bring this up because this was a really important point for us back in around 2018 when we ripped apart our business and really were focusing on profitability. Is we realized that we were paying every month for all sorts of things that weren't really doing anything to move the needle when it came to nurturing clients, but we were still paying for it. And a lot of times, it's $100 here, a couple $100 there. You've got your CRM, you've got all these type of things, and they just start adding up. And a lot of times, what we found is we had these things in place, but we never actually put like our clients into those tools, and so they weren't even doing anything. So we were paying money every month and they weren't even doing anything. So another part of this too is it really allows you to evaluate what in your business you can continue to spend money on and where you can make cuts. so that each one of your closings are more profitable. So, the easiest way to do this is think about what you do in 1 month and break down your entire business on what you spend in 1 month in your business. The easiest way that I tell people to do this is just take your bank statement. Once again, I highly recommend if you're in this industry that you have a separate bank account for your business. Um, Take that for 1 month and just start making notes of what is going out that month. If you have a CRM, do you have, a website? Do you have all these type of things? For us, agents at our company, you guys have a monthly fee that gives you access to all the tools that we offer. So I would start by putting that there. Now, if you're in the position where you don't have any extra things that you've put, you're not paying for any extra things outside of what we're providing you as a company, it's a great place to be because you're going to be pretty profitable. Um, so basically, in order to figure out real quickly what your cost per acquisition is on an average per month, what you want to do is you want to take all of those fees that you're paying every month recurring, and you just want to add them up. So let's say you have, $2,000 worth of business expenses every month. Now, when I say business expenses, these are things that directly touch clients. So I would not put your necessarily for this, I would not put your gas and mileage and that type of stuff in this calculation. These are just the things we're using to nurture clients down the funnel. The other stuff is different for different things down the road. Um, but basically, you just want to figure out every month what are you paying to third party companies and all those type of things for tools that help nurture your clients down your funnel. So let's say that's $2,000. Then what you have to look at is how many transactions are you closing on average every month? Once again, we're looking at averages here because we don't want to sit here and take, a client that's been in our system for 18 months and do a calculation every month on how much we spent for them. It's just way more complicated. Now, I would recommend if you're doing like very high level, like team type stuff with a large team, you do probably need to get that granular because as you expand your team, your margins go down and your profitability becomes a lot more important. So if you are running a team, I would recommend getting that granular, but as a solo agent, you normally don't need to. So you take that cost of what that is per month and you divide it by the number of transactions that you're closing on average. So if you have $2,000 a month that you're spending to nurture clients every month, and then you divide that by, let's say, you're averaging 2 transactions a month, you divide that in half. So your cost per transaction on each of those is $1,000. All right, coffee break. Um, so once you get that number in place, now you know that each one of your transactions to get that person into your funnel is $1,000. So now you can add that to your cost per lead of where that client came in. So if they came through Zillow, they are, $2,500 to get them into your ecosystem. You nurture them down, and then you get them to the closing table, and you paid $1,000. So now your cost to get that client to the closing table is $3,500. That is where your profitability is really going to start to be changed because now that you know how much that is, you can easily start manipulating that number to bring it down so that hopefully your goal is for us personally, we actually got almost 80% reduced our cost per acquisition and cost per lead by almost 80%. What happened then is we were able to sell the same amount of homes but we made a lot more money. All too often, one of the big things in real estate is, oh, if you need to make more money, you have to sell more homes. And what I see when that happens is there's a lot of burnout. So instead of saying, hey, I need to make some more money this year, or my goals, I've set some higher goals for financially, instead of first going to how do I sell more homes, the first thing I'd go to is how do I be more efficient and make more profit on each one of those closings. Um, Now, the one thing about this is these numbers take some time. So, for example, if you have something that you're not using and you cut that out of your budget, it's going to kind of take some time to fall off so that you're no longer using that within the system. But ultimately, just understand the more that you're cutting, the more profitable you're going to get when you get to the closing table. Um, the last point on this too, and part three, when we get into that, is going to be lifetime value. And that is looking at your clients who you've past clients, people in your sphere that maybe you haven't closed but are giving you referrals. And that profitability metric is going to be long term on how do you maximize your clients and the people in your sphere to get more transactions over the long term. And the cool thing about it, when we talk about that in part three, we can also use the cost per lead and cost per acquisition math to help us optimize that lifetime value of a client. So you're really maximizing everybody that you get into your sphere. The other real important thing with this too is once you have your cost per lead and your cost per acquisition, it gives you a baseline to understand what you should be bringing into your business and what you shouldn't. So once you have those numbers, it's a really easy way to say, hey, I'm thinking about bringing in this new system, this new CRM or whatever, but I know that this is going to add X amount of dollars um, to my cost per acquisition. Then you can look at it from the standpoint of does that make sense in my business from a high level view of from profitability, or does it make sense profitably to do that in my business? So ultimately, I would focus on looking at those two metrics, trying to optimize them so that you can maximize each of your closings to be as profitable as possible. Do you have any questions?
No, it like all makes sense. And I was thinking about like time and money, like if, or are you focusing more on like the cost and like the money side of things?
So that's one thing in part one we talked about it. So my opinion is there's no such thing as a free lead in real estate. Every lead that you have, even if it's your great Aunt Linda, either takes time or money to get them into your database. So for me, especially if you're an agent where, like Emily, I know for you, you're not spending money on Zillow and all of those type of things. You're doing a lot organically. For you, you might not focus on these metrics from a money standpoint, but a time standpoint. So with
Right.
your so with your cost per lead, we won't, let's say time per lead for you,
Mhm.
how do you take, if you look at like the last 100 people that you've put into your database, right?
Mhm.
And you say, okay, each one of those people, it took me about this amount of time. And this is where you do kind of have to average everything because there's really no way to be like, well, they've watched 3 hours of my content. Now
Right.
they're in my
Yeah.
database.
Hmm.
Um, but kind of look at it, how much time are you spending to get these people in, and then finding ways that you can become more efficient with either content or whatever you're doing to bring these people in so that now you're maximizing your time. And so you can get more people into the pipeline in the same amount of time. And that's where, especially the people that are doing a lot of organic, social media, YouTube, that type of stuff, that is really where I think AI can really become one of your best friends because it can help you expedite that process of creating whatever you're creating, and you can create a lot more content in a shorter amount of time. So, if nothing else, at the end of the day, you have more free time in your day. Um,
Hmm.
Ideally, what would happen is you can take that time that you're saving and then use it to go find more business. But not everybody wants to do that. And that's another big part that I talked about in part one is everybody has a little bit different goal with their business. Not everybody wants to be a $200 million a year team leader, who runs a huge team. Some people are like, you know what?
Right.
I want to be a great solo agent that sells 10 homes a year and has a great life. And my thing with it is, if you want to sell 10 homes a year, that's great. But also, if you can maximize your profit in those 10 homes, maybe you only need to sell 8 homes a year. And now you have more time to go play golf or, go do the things that you want to do with your free time. So, um, a lot of this, a lot of times we get sucked into the trap of this is to make more sales. I think for me, this is all about efficiency within your business. And if you choose to use that efficiency to go make more sales, great. But you can also use that efficiency to be like, hey, I'm going to work 2 hours today, be efficient with it, and be done. One of the most successful real estate agents I know, and he was kind of a mentor to me when I started, um, he's been in business for a long time, so he has a good book of business and everything. But he has really refined his processes when it comes to lead generation and lead nurture. And for the most part, he works about 2 hours a day, doing all of his lead nurture, lead stuff. And then, if he doesn't have appointments and he doesn't do that, he's like, you know what? I know I've done the things that I need to do to get the business long term. So it's been my 2 hours. I'm done for the day. And he'll go play golf. He'll go, hiking. He'll do all sorts of stuff. Um, the interesting thing about that is he literally is never slow enough to where he gets to do those things for the most part because he's always busy with clients. And it's because he has such a good system in place, um, on how to get people in the into his lead generation ecosystem, into the sphere, and then nurture them down the funnel. Anything else?
I think it's awesome, and it's a good point of view because for me, I feel like time is a lot more of what I spend on for my clients or my leads or whatnot. But I'm starting to see though too that money is kind of getting up there too with my expenses I've been tracking.
Yeah. Well, and what I see, especially with agents, this isn't this isn't a scientific study, let's put it that way. But what I've seen and what I've observed is you have this really weird kind of level with agents. So you start out as an agent, and most agents start out not buying leads, not doing any of that. They just start out working their sphere, start getting their feet under them and stuff like that. And so it's normally around that 3 to 4 year mark that I feel that you start seeing agents who have been successful in that first 3 to 4 years, that they start looking at, okay, I have my organic systems in place. I'm closing some good deals. Now I'm ready to start really closing deals. So they normally jump into, that's when I start seeing people jump into buying leads. And the problem with this that I see with this is most of the time they haven't taken the time to optimize and refine their organic processes that they started the first 3 to 4 years. And then they start jumping into leads. And what happens is you have now two inefficiencies in your business because you haven't optimized the first one. Now you've brought a second one on that traditionally, if you're buying good quality leads, they're not very profitable. And so you really have to focus on those numbers. And that's where I think a lot of the time, it's that 3 to 4 year agent. They start buying leads, and what happens is their profitability goes way down. They start closing more deals because they're bringing more people in, but their profitability goes down. And then they start going, well, wait a second. I was closing 10 deals, my first 3 to 4 years, and I was making more money than now that I'm closing 20 deals. And it's because they brought in a new lead source without, first of all, optimizing the first one. And they just started basically, like, when you buy leads, part of the problem with them is they're going to inundate your database, and they don't have the systems to nurture those people down. So each one of those leads ends up being a lot more expensive and taking more of your time. So you get in this like crazy cycle where then you're just hustling to, not have any free time. And even if you are making more money and you happen to be more profitable, which normally isn't the case, but you don't have any free time to go enjoy the money that you're making. So I think it's a great point. This is not only a money-based equation, this also has a ton to do with your efficiency and time. um, and I think also a big part of this is understanding as a new agent that you need to have a progression plan for your business. And to me, that all starts with, what are your goals as a business owner? Are you the type of agent that you're like, hey, one day I want to have a team of 20 and we're going to do 400 million a year. If that's your goal, then, around year 3 and 4, you're probably going to do a lot of things different than the agent that's like, hey, my goal is to sell 10 homes a year, make decent amount of money and have a lot of free time to go fishing or play golf or do whatever. So any questions specifically on like the like cost per acquisition piece on the monthly recurring charges and that type of stuff in your business?
Not really. I just kind of like want to listen in and get your like your insight and all that.
Um,
So,
so do you have like specific ways you're tracking this, like a spreadsheet or an app, or like how do you actually literally keep track?
so if you've never done it before, I would say pull your bank statement and find all those things every month. And then, yeah, just make a spreadsheet. So for us, what we did, because when we started this, I was like, total foreign concept. We had no idea. And it was crazy because what happened is, I had been in business like 2 years at this point. Kyle had been in business longer. But what we found is like there were a lot of these things that we were paying for every month that we had signed up for when we were like brand new agents. We didn't know what we were doing. That we were still paying for, but we weren't even using them anymore. And so it was like $50 here, $50 there, $75. And so, yeah, take your bank account, find those things first of all, and then making a spreadsheet and showing. And then what we did too is we took all these monthly reoccurring charges, and then we put a second tab in the spreadsheet. And I basically looked at over the last year of these things that we're paying for, how many of those things were actually did we use on the clients that we closed? And the funny thing about it for us, a lot of those things we weren't even utilizing for the people that closed. So it's like that's obviously a waste of money. Like it didn't get people to the closing table, so there's no need to pay for it. But yeah, just a simple Google spreadsheet is what I'd recommend. And it does get more complicated. Obviously, if you have a team and you've got a lot more expenses and all those type of things, it's going to be a much different calculation. If you are in that position, I'd highly recommend that you have a bookkeeper and you have QuickBooks or some type of online accounting software. And it's going to make this part of it a lot easier for you because as your bookkeeper is putting in your charges and your monthly expenses, they're categorizing them for what they are. So it makes it really easy to pull a report. Um, but that's the one thing I think the first thing I tell when I'm consulting with a team, if they don't have a bookkeeper, that's kind of keeping track of all these things for them, it's a pain in the butt because it's almost impossible if you don't have that. So having some way, either spreadsheets, QuickBooks, something like that is super important. As a solo agent, it's a little bit easier because we just don't have the expenses that the larger teams do. But still, just track it whatever way you can. It doesn't have to be fancy. Um, use your taxes, for example. You got that's one place to go look. You have all your write-offs. A lot of those things are going to be the things that you're spending money on every month. So use that as a tool. Use your bank account, use a spreadsheet, but just track it.
Have you ever used one of those like services that tracks all of your expenses, like cancels, bills or charges you haven't used in a while? Like I know they see those like advertised all the time where it's like you're still paying for this a year later.
Yeah, we actually tried that when we were in this process. And I forget, there was like an app that was supposed to look for all your subscriptions and then tell you, what you haven't used in so long, and then you could cancel it. It was a pain in the butt. It didn't work. So I tried it one time. I don't know if I'll ever use it again. I think part of the reason was though, a lot of the stuff we were wanting it to find were like real estate type expenses that weren't necessarily like apps on our phone. I think the intended purpose of the app that I got was to find apps on your phone that you're not using. But it didn't work really well for the expenses type stuff. So, the other thing that I want to point out too, some of these services are also tiered. So the more people that you are like enrolling. So for example, we had a company called Sensations that did postcards for us. You had to be careful with that one because the more that we sent out to our clients, the more the cost went up. So you sometimes have to be a little bit, do some estimating, do some averaging. If you have a bill that fluctuates a little bit every month, depending on factors. So just be careful when you do that. But once again, like this is not going to get you I wouldn't use this theory for your P&L and those type of things. But it does get you a very quick, very easy way to know, how much are you spending every month on things versus how many transactions are you closing. And sometimes the easiest thing is like, hey, I am in a position where my expenses are very efficient. Like, for example, if you're only paying your company fee and you're not paying for any other third party, you know, um, okay, I'm going to sound terrible. Are we at 189 now a month? Is that the monthly fee right now? I know I should know that, but Um, so if that's all you're spending, there's not a whole lot you can do. You don't need to go through and be like, well, I need to cut that. Like, you've got a lot of resources for that 189 that you're spending. You don't probably need to go through. And that's when you're like, okay, now if I want to make more money, probably I need to look at how do I make some more sales. But if you do that math and you're like $7,000, $8,000, you're like, wait a second, and I'm closing 2 transactions a month. So if you can bring that number way down, how much more profitable are each one of those closings?
It's the same as the stuff that you get that when you're using the tools that NAR provides, or anything. You really should look at the value your brokerage provides for what you're spending. And it's not just the 189 a month, it's your split as well. It's like everything, like that factors in your cost per acquisition. So how much do you spend versus what are you getting? And then you factor in all the programs that, your brokerage provides, along with like the support and everything, and decide if that's, worth it. So I love that you brought that up, because once I found, once I truly grasped the concept of, what's the difference between us and how people make billions of dollars, especially new money people making billions of dollars. It's how we use our time. We all
Yeah.
get 24 hours in a day. They leverage better than us. And I never started making real money or making real moves in a business until I started leveraging and stopped doing dumb shit myself.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, is looking at those numbers and going, hey, you know, okay, I'm not spending a lot to buy leads, but maybe to be more efficient, that's when you're like, I need to bring in a VA to take care of some of these other tasks, so that I'm more efficient with the things, if you're really, really good at prospecting and cold calling and building your database that way, but you suck at doing some other things, hire someone to do the stuff that you suck at, so you have more time to do the things that you're good at. And that's a great way to leverage your business too and really scale, is just take the things that you suck at and go find somebody who you can pay a reasonable price that will be good at them.
And just so you guys know, behind the scenes in our company, we lead by example. We're always critiquing each other. Is this a good use of your time? We're always asking each other this. Josh, is what you're doing a good use of your time? Or do we need to assign that to somebody that's paid a little bit less? Or, we are constantly, I just met with a business coach on Friday that asked me, if I examined your schedule for a whole week, would I, you know, how much how much should you be leveraging? And I was like, I think you'd actually be proud of me.
Well, and also like automation, like how many things can you, automate the tasks that you do 10 times a day? How can you click a button
Mhm.
to do it rather than taking your time? Or like AI, like I need to write this paper. Like, well, if you write it yourself, it's going to take you hours. But can you cheat it a little, use AI to get a rough draft, and then go over and take 20 minutes to polish it off yourself, and it saves you hours.
Mhm. Love that. Thanks, Josh. This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think, you know what, and I just want to say one more thing is, burying your head in the sand and ignoring the numbers is not going to do you any favors.
Yeah.
And it certainly did me no favors. And once I actually sat down and faced the music, I felt so much better. I'm like, okay, well, the worst thing that happened was I learned exactly what I'm dealing with. Now things can only improve from here. Things can only get better. I have goals now. I have things that I want to accomplish. And so I'm telling you right now, you can never out earn your stupidity. If you're being stupid with your money, you can never out earn it. You will never out earn it.
That is so true. I agree 1000%. And definitely, like, there's so many parts in your business. Also, I can't turn on my camera. It says it's disabled, but um, the like the most important part like is to evaluate just different aspects of the uh your business. And so I would say like the past month I did that, and I've been seeing even progress for the past 3 days, and I've been busier, but the busier means more closings, more profit coming in my business, but also it's like, hey, what am I spending my time on, my money on? What am I doing? What are my goals? What am I doing to take care of myself too, right? My health, to be able to tie everything together as well.
And don't forget, the actions that you take today affect your money 90 days from now. Do not expect, hey, I did things for a week and nothing works,
Yeah,
like
and
you will not see results until 90 days from now.
I saw a quote for like Earth Day. It was like, what you plant today grows tomorrow, or something like that.
Yeah.
A good point. And you didn't mention it, Emily, but I also, this year was the first year you've really leveraged a TC. So I feel like that's really freed up your time to go out and do like the income producing activities, the meeting
That's
the clients,
true.
showing the houses, because now you're spending less time doing the paperwork and the other things. So
That's true. I agree. But then also, it gave me more time to the point where I kind of like didn't keep myself accountable. And then I started to get distracted on some other things. But, when you do have a lot of more time, then you can pour yourself into something else or whatnot. Yes. But keep yourself accountable.
And that's the thing, by the way, Josh, I think Kyle needs to teach a time management course, because
I need that. Yep.
Holly and I were talking and we're like, I don't like, she runs circles around us. Like everything that she's doing, I don't know, my Zoom's messed up, but like everything that she does with her time, you guys have no clue what she does behind the scenes. She is still your guys' TC. She's our director of operations. Many of you don't know this, but she's a principal broker as well. Like she is incredible. And I'm ashamed of how little work I do compared to her.
Is she here? Or no, she's
She's
not here.
Yeah, she's working.
Yeah,
oh
like I'm so like I sometimes I sit and I think, because I'm like, okay, I was like, hey Kyle, can you please do this? And then instantly I see a response, and then 1 hour later, like, or even like shorter, she gets my buyer docs done, and I'm like, oh, I expected like tomorrow or maybe this evening, but wow. And just I see like that her schedule is super busy, and she'll still make time to meet with me via Zoom or whatnot. And it's like, oh my gosh, like my business has been so much better with her. And I'm starting to realize that and appreciate it 1,000% more.
But you know what, Emily? And not to get too personal, so feel free to stop me if you want to, but I truly believe that you managed your time better when you worked at Penny's because you were forced to. And
Right. You're
then when
right.
you went full-time real estate, you were like, like now, like I have some breathing room.
Don't
But
need to
now that I
clock
don't have
in
that
5 minutes
structure,
before work.
yeah,
And
yeah. And now that you didn't have that mandatory structure, you kind of took, and that's the trap that a lot of agents get trapped in,
I
frankly.
agree.
I
Yeah.
I did too. I got into a trap where when I resigned from my government job, I started sleeping all day. I was just like, because I could. Because
Yeah.
I could.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, where's my money? Like I don't have any money.
Well, which is why the past month has been really like a turning point. I would say like 360 even, because number one, I had to evaluate what went wrong, what went right, but also look at my time in a day. And then also I was like, okay, what did I do before that like didn't get like that helped me, right? Start my day right, which is waking up at 5 every day. And it took me like a week to get back to that schedule, because I was like, okay, gotta wake up at 6 first, and then we'll do 5, and maybe like I'm gonna change something up. But for the past 3 days, I can say I woke up at 5 every single day, did my makeup, um, an hour. Usually I do my makeup within an hour when I wake up. And then I dress up because that's what I did at Penny's. And I would say like the last part of the year, last year, I would wear PJs and just stay in my PJs. And I just feel like I'm homey and I'm not at work. And that is also a problem. So
Exactly. You have to put on your people clothes. Like even because I'm like, yeah, do your makeup, put it on your face. But like for women that don't wear makeup or men that don't, like, put on your people clothes, put on fucking shoes, whatever it takes to be presentable. But that is why I say it's so important to turn your camera on
yeah,
when you come to these Zoom things, because it is your way of being held accountable in these online, like, it is very difficult to transition into a cloud virtual brokerage. However, it can be your best tool that you leverage. You know, you don't have to spend half an hour driving to a brokerage to get an answer from a managing broker and then fucking like go drive somewhere else and figure things out. Like, you can truly level up your game immediately with instant access if you leverage a virtual brokerage properly. Like, but so few agents actually do it, because then again, there's a little bit less structure, right? You're removed just a little bit more, where nobody's like, wow, I haven't seen you in the office lately. You know, you don't have one of those old ladies yelling at you and stuff, right? So I don't know that I'll get off my high horse on that, but I will say that ever since I made the promise to myself that I would face the music and turn on my camera every single day, which meant, all right, well, I don't want to look like shit on camera. And sometimes I look like shit on camera. Sometimes I'm like, well, Sandy, this is what you get for like not taking care of yourself today. You're going to look like shit on camera because you told yourself you had to turn it on every day. This is what you get. And so I don't know, but it's all about keeping promises to yourself, because when you keep your word to yourself and others, your self-confidence, that's the only way to raise your own confidence in yourself. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Mic drop.
Well, and I also wanted to throw in, like, if you're making changes, like trying to like save money or change things or whatever, don't make those decisions when you're stressed. Like, make a list of things you want to try and find an hour or two to review it to make sure it's good, and wait a day or two or a week and then say, does this still make sense? And also, like, don't make a whole bunch of changes at once, because if something works, you're not going to know what did it. Or if it doesn't work, you're not going to know, like, did I try to do too much? So, like, just try to exercise some calm and patience when you're making decisions like that, because if you make decisions in a panic or just under stress, it's probably not going to be good either.
And give yourself some grace. So like Emily talked about getting up every morning at 5. You guys will never, I don't want to say never, I'm not a never girl, but you'll probably never hear me say that. I'm not a 5 a.m. girl. I recognize my limitations. I am a 7:05 a.m. girl. Like, for some reason, that's the time I wake up. I recognize that about myself, but by God, I'm up at 7:05. That's the structure that I accept. You know, you won't see me like sleeping until 9 or 10 or what, like, that's not what I do, but I'm not a 5 a.m. girl. Ain't gonna happen. So give yourself some grace. Like, you'll never see me committing to a 75 hard, because I'd be starting over like every 3 days. I'm not gonna do it. So thanks, Josh. I'm sorry we got so off track.
Hey, it is what it is. It's all business stuff though. That's the thing. Like, it's all interconnected. And that's like you said, I think it goes back to, you can't put your head in the sand when it comes to your business numbers and expect to run, you know. And I will say this too, like, a lot of times I'll talk to a team leader who's really struggling, and they're coming to me and they're like, "Hey, we're selling all these homes, but like I'm making no money." Um, and it's very liberating, I think, for them when you sit down and you actually do the math, because they realize like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this sucks, but this is a fixable problem. Like, we can fix this. It's not that difficult." And so that's the thing about it, is I think personally, and we saw this in our business, it was kind of liberating, because it was like it gives you the control about, you know, how do we become more successful? So,
Being blind to your issues doesn't mean your issues aren't there. Like
right?
the worst
But
thing that happens is you're like, okay, this is what we're dealing with, and let's, we can only get better from here. So,
I
right,
also
Holly?
think
Go ahead.
I think a
Sorry.
lot of that is the trap of real estate too, because, everybody just jumps to, oh, well, you have to make more sales. You need to buy more leads. You need to do this, that, and the other thing. So,
I mean, I lie to myself too. I mean, I do the same thing. I grossly overestimate my own abilities, but it's just also you have to be your own best hype man as well. But you have to find that right balance of good habits and being your own best hype man. How about that?
yeah.
All right, Holly, close us out.
All right. When in doubt, well, tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow is our company-wide meeting. And so, as always, we'll bring you fresh information, hot tea, and updates that you need to know. So, see you tomorrow at 10. So, when in doubt, reach out, message us if you need us. We are here for you. We all started this morning with a blank slate at 0. So, go out and talk to a buyer, a seller, or an agent today. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everybody.